All right, welcome back, team. So we are now in lesson number 5, discovering your ideal physique decoded. All right, just so you understand, just about everything that we do is decoded, right? Because um, there's a lot of BS going out in social media, so we want to make sure that we show you what really works and what doesn't work. And in this video, right, in this lesson, we're going to talk about discovering your ideal physique. So let's go back through our notes real quick, right? So in lesson 2, we went through finding your ideal weight and calculating your BMRs. And for the example that I used, my client, this woman is 24 years old. She weighs 140. Oh, she weighs 175 pounds. And we used the calculator to calculate her current BMR, which is 1605. Right? This is her. This is how many calories she burns at throughout a normal daily activity life. Just and I'm assuming, not assuming, but we are assuming it's a sedentary life. Okay, so she's not going around being very active. She's not a construction worker. She's not a professional athlete where she burns more calories than the average person. This is for the average person. If you have a desk job and you just do light, very light activity throughout the day, you're going to be burning 1,605 calories if you are a woman and you weigh 175 pounds and you're 24 years old. Okay. Her ideal weight for an athletic body is 145. So when she gets to this weight at about 14% body fat, because the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn. So it's essential that you burn. It's essential that you build lean mass or lean muscle, because as we get older, if we don't exercise, you will lose muscle. And when you lose muscle, your metabolic rate goes down. Every extra pound of muscle that you have, you can burn anywhere from 10 to 50 calories extra per day, okay, per pound of muscle. So if you gain 10 pounds of muscle, you're going to be burning anywhere from 100 or 200 or 300 calories extra per day, which allows you to maintain your weight better and allows you to maintain your goals for the long term instead of the short term, which is what most people do. They go for the short term, they lose muscle mass instead of maintaining or keeping muscle mass, and then they crash. So at 145, 14% body fat, her BMR will be about 1479. And at the same weight, if her body fat is higher, right, her ideal BMR will be lower. Just so you guys understand that. I want you to put that into your head, okay? Now, in lesson 3, we went over macros. So we said that we're gonna eat 1 gram per pound of body weight if you exercise at least an hour a day. So your goal for protein macros is 145 grams, complete protein. So if you don't understand what complete protein, go back to that video or look it up on Google. Complete protein versus incomplete proteins. Then we have carbs. She says she wants to be athletic. All right. So we multiply 145 times 1.25. That gives us 180. So that's about 100. She has to hit her goal is 180 grams of carbs per day. And the fats are going to be 20 grams per day. We did the formula, which is we added 145 plus 180 times 4. That gave us 1,300. Then we subtracted 1,300 from her ideal calorie intake, gave us 179 calories. That's how many calories left we would have from fats. And then we divide 179 by 9, we get 20 grams of fat. So these are her macros. And you guys just understand, when it comes to food, um, understand that most foods have a combination of carbs, proteins, and fats. So the numbers that you would get on a tracking app, such as MyFitnessPal, it's gonna mix everything up. So the numbers are not always going to be exactly. Your macros are not always gonna be exactly like this. And even if it shows that you are way over your protein intake, it does not mean you actually are. Because again, let's say for example, if you just eat rice, 100 grams of rice is probably gonna have anywhere from 5 to 10 grams of protein. But again, it's an incomplete protein. So even though it's reflected on MyFitnessPal as a protein, it's not really protein. So you want to make sure that you eat the right amount of complete proteins throughout the day. You have to keep that in mind, right? So don't go too crazy trying to hit numbers. Let's say, for example, you're not able to hit 180 grams of carbs. You're only able to hit 110. That's okay because your protein is probably going to be really high. It's probably going to be like 50 grams higher than what it normally is, than what it's supposed to be. So it's not going to be on my fitness pal. It's not going to say 145. It might say like 200, and then you might have 120 grams of carbs. That's okay, right? Because then your fat grams are probably going to be around 20, 25. You're good. You're good. Do not panic. It's okay as long as you hit. So that's why I always say like your protein. At the end of the day, if you're managing your diet very well, it's gonna say a higher number. It's gonna say like 200, 210. It's gonna be like 50% higher than normal, for the most part. And then in lesson 4, we calculated the body fat at the current situation, right? So the current situation is that, so her current weight, we have it up top, but I'm just gonna put it here again. Her current weight was 175 pounds. Okay. And guys, when you go to the calculator, because this is the calculator we used, I want you to be careful about one thing that I didn't mention when in the body fat measurement video. Sometimes, so if you click male, you're gonna notice that the hip is missing from the navy tape measure method. But if I hit female, the hips come up. When you first open the app and you do the measurement, a lot of times you click female and it will look like this. You will not have the hips. And then a little ad thing comes up here, pops up, and you got to close it. So what you want to do is just keep clicking between male and female until the hips come out, and then you're good. All right. And so this is the body fat. Here you can write the fat mass and the lean muscle mass. So, and then you can see where you are in terms of your health using this chart over here. So we at 46%, this person, my client, is obese. All right, guys. So now that we've established, right, now that we've gone through all the lessons, let's talk about the ideal physique, all right, and how I came about it and why it's important. So let's go back to this. Now, the way I created my charts, these right here, these charts at the bottom, is since I competed in bodybuilding I've been competing for about 10 years. And I figured out that there's a specific look that most judges are looking for. And that specific look has to do with how lean you are. Some of them have height categories, and there's different classes. So you have the men's physique, you have men's bodybuilding, open class, 212, open bodybuilding. Same thing for women. You have bikini, you have figure, you have physique, and bodybuilding. The difference between all these categories is how much muscle mass each one of these men or women have. So with that said, all of them are at a very similar body fat, but the weight changes. Some of them are a little bit heavier, some of them are lighter, depends on the muscle mass. So then what I did is that I figured out, I decided to get some estimates. I made some estimates of what a person at a specific body type will weigh and what is considered a healthy body fat. So when you go over here, you can see right here, essential fat, athletes, fitness, acceptable, obese. These are the ranges in body fat. So this controls, so essentially someone who wants to be normal will have a specific amount of muscle mass, a specific amount of lean muscle. Same thing, and then the body fat dictates how much lean fat mass you have. So you can see when you do the body fat, you have your lean muscle mass and your lean body weight. So just so you understand, right? Let's say, for example, my client here, let's say her waist shrinks to 30 inches. So she's got a smaller waist because she lost a lot of body fat around her midsection. And let's say that her hips also get smaller to about, let's say, 36. And the neck, let's say the neck stays the same. And let's say her weight stays the same. If her weight stays the same and body fat goes down, that means her muscle mass went up. So when I calculate, right, so when you see these numbers right here, and I calculate, so now her body fat will be 23%, but you can see how much her lean body weight changed. So it went from 94 pounds to 134 pounds. That's 40 pounds increase in muscle mass, but then that means that she had to have lost 40 pounds of muscle. I mean, of fat. So she lost almost 40 pounds of fat. And but if her weight goes down, let's say her weight goes down to 145, which is where we want to be, then her body fat will be about the same, but then her muscle mass will go down significantly, right? Because she lost some weight. So what I did on these charts is these are the ideal weight at 14% body fat. For males, it might be a little bit lower. I think like 10%. I am not 100% sure right at this moment. Okay, I can look for it, but we're not going to. Most of the time, I tell my clients, if you want to be healthy, just normal, everyday healthy, get to about 12 to 14% body fat. If you want to be athletic, then you want to be a little bit leaner, let's say 10%. So these weights can also change. So if this is 14% body fat, then at 10% body fat, you would have less fat mass, but you would have the same amount of muscle mass. That wouldn't change. All right. So with that being said, okay, so here's what you're gonna do. So you're gonna find your description, which you did in lesson 2. You figure out what your body type is best for you, which one you love the most, right? So normal, athletic. So my client said she wanted to be athletic. So once you figure this out, you're gonna go down here. So she's a female, so you're gonna go ideal body weight for females. She's 5'7". Again, her athletic weight will be 145. At normal, it'll be 140. Athletic muscular will be 160. Muscular 170. Now, you decide which body type you want, and you decide, depending on your height, it's going to tell you which weight you need to be at. All right. Now, I also have this little chart here just to make things easier for you. So if you don't want to do a lot of math. So my client, 5'7", and athletic, she's going to have 25 pounds of fat mass. So if we go over here, right, we said we want to have, we said we want to figure out ideal situations. So ideal weight is 145 pounds. Ideal body fat is going to be 14%, and ideal fat mass. All right, so we established that ideal fat mass for females, athletic, 5'7", is going to be 23 pounds. So her ideal fat mass as athletic is going to be 23 pounds. And her ideal lean muscle mass for females, 5'7", athletic, would be 122 pounds. So ideal lean body mass is 122 pounds. And if you add these up, it comes up to 145. All right? So this is about as easy as it can get to find this information. All right. So the idea for this lesson is just to figure out these numbers. All right. So if you just want to like really break it down, so actually this is the point of this lesson is just to find your ideal physique numbers. So these are it. All right. So we are done with this lesson, and we are going to go now into the last lesson 6, where we're going to summarize everything, and we're going to talk about creating a program. All right. So let's go to the next lesson, which would be lesson 6. All right. So hope you guys found this valuable, and I'll see you in the next lesson.